name's Jeremy Tomczyk. We're here at King B Restaurant in East Village, and today we'll be talking about how to make pork cracklings. Pork cracklings are traditionally pork belly, slow cooked in oil, and then they're turned up and deep fried to get a crispy skin and our outer skin. Sometimes they're seasoned with different seasonings, sometimes they're just seasoned with salt. But here at King B, what we do is we season it with a little bit of fennel, cayenne, paprika, and also malt vinegar powder. Pork rinds are just only the skin. The good thing about pork cracklings is you get the meat and the fat and the skin. So it's all three combination, different textures that you get a crispy skin, a little bit of fattiness, and then a lot of meatiness with it. To get started, we're gonna take our raw pork belly and cut it up into cubes. So here we have our raw pork belly right here. I just cut it up into little areas so it's easier to cut into cubes. And here at King B, we cut it up into smaller cubes. Not too small, but about, I would say, an inch, three-quarters of an inch. And when you cook it off in the fat, we use canola oil here. It's gonna shrink a little bit when you fry it, but this is how we cut it here. We just put it in a bowl, and from here you're just gonna lightly salt it. And after you salt it, you're gonna just let your pork belly sit for about 20 minutes in the refrigerator. This will just get a light kind of coating. You can also salt it the day before if you want, but the whole process is just to get that little light salt to it before you cook it. So I have my pork belly here. It's all nicely cubed. It's seasoned, ready to go. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it in the oil that's at 200 degrees. Here we're gonna let this pork belly basically cook for about an hour, 20 minutes. You're gonna wanna stir it every so often. What's gonna happen is the pork belly will tend to stick at the bottom. So you're gonna want a fair amount of oil halfway through the pot for your pork belly to cook evenly. You wanna slow cook the pork belly. If you cook it over a high heat, you're not gonna really get that texture that you want at the end product. So here we've our pork belly's been cooking for about an hour and a half. At this point, you could take it out, let it rest a little bit, turn up the heat and fry it. But what we're gonna do here, which a method that also works, is we're gonna actually just turn up the heat, and then the pork belly will start to fry at 400 degrees until it's crispy. This process will take about 5-10 minutes. So now we brought the temperature up to oil for about 10 minutes now, and the pork cracklings are looking really good. You got a nice golden color on them. You can tell they're starting to get a little bit crispy, and I think they look pretty ready to take out of the fry. You don't want to fry it any longer here. This would just almost get like a burnt flavor, and that's not what you want. You want that nice porky crackling flavor. If you have a paper towel, you can put it on a paper towel. Right here, I just put on like a sheet tray. So now I have my pork cracklings out of the oil, and now I'm gonna want to season them. So they're a little bit hot, so you want to put them in a bowl while they're still warm. This is a perfect time to salt them, season them, and plate them. So here we got our warm pork cracklings that we just took out of the fryer and put into the bowl. And here we have our mise en place. We have peanuts with caramel, basically just sugar melted, and then we throw the peanuts in there once they get a nice caramel color. And then we put it on a sizzle platter, and it becomes a nice block like this. From there, we chop it up, and it makes peanuts and cane caramel. Along with that, we have a little bit of salt, and here we have our spice mixture. This is a fennel seed, a little bit of cayenne, a little bit of smoked paprika, a little bit of pepper, and that's basically it. Very, very basic, simple recipe. I just want a little bit of heat, and these seasonings I really like with pork. I think fennel goes really good with it, as well as smoked paprika. And then the last, we have malt vinegar powder. What this will do is this will cut the acid that the pork belly has. The pork belly is very fatty, so you want that to balance that fattiness out with a little bit of acid. So here we just toss it up, we add a little bit of thyme to it, and then we have our plate right here. And then what we'd like to do is just like to sprinkle a little bit of the powder along for presentation, and on top a little bit more thyme. And there's our finished product. Here's our pork cracklings that you can get at Restaurant King B.